Lance Percival set the scene rather nicely, May 1963, but why was it the time of your life?
Well, the thing was, I'd been in Manchester since I was 15, as you know, I'd left home in Belfast, and I'd gone through a sort of an apprenticeship period. I'd just had my 17th birthday, and that's when you know, the club usually decide whether to sign a player full-time professional. Of course, leading up to the cup final, they obviously had other things in their mind. So at the time, I didn't really know whether I was going to stay at Manchester United or whether I was going to go home to Belfast.
And of course, it was a very important time for Manchester United, who was still getting over the effects of Munich.
Yeah, it was really. It was the start of some great years. The air crash obviously had taken away some tremendously great players from a great club side. And Manchester United had become, in those days, if they weren't your team or the team that you supported, they were everyone's sort of second favourite team. And this really was the start of some tremendous years for them. So it was very important to win this trophy.
And we have with us this evening two members of that victorious Manchester United team, Paddy Crerand and the captain Noel Cantwell.
Well, he's already been honest and said that probably the guys at Manchester United had a lot more on their minds than George Best. Do you remember anything of him at that time?
I do. I remember him as a thin, spindly sort of a guy who had exceptional ability and just a bit too young to appear in the cup final, but I think most of us appreciated that he had exceptional skill and he was going to be a great player, but he was just about probably 6 months too early for it to play in our game. But he was only a kid. He drank lemonade and he behaved himself.
He did what?
Yeah, that's right. Probably orange squash and various things. I remember seeing him at the weekend. But at Manchester United, Noel, at the time, particularly the young players, they were sort of held down by Matt and they were all together and we were the senior players at the time. But he soon emerged as somebody we were all very excited about.
Pat, were you aware of this emergence?
Yeah, well, as I say, we all were, because his ability was, I mean, unbelievable at that time. And for a young boy, and, you know, but I remember about the cup final, in actual fact, coming back from the game and him and John Fitzpatrick up at the window. But I remember one thing about it, because when the kids used to mix with the players, then Matt would maybe take one or two of them away somewhere and, you know, you get the kids round the table. Probably they'd never been in a big hotel in your life. And I remember asking them one day, do you want a prawn cocktail? No, we don't drink.
George was quite a shy guy at the time. I don't think that many players, many people at the club, there were quite a lot of good, exciting young players there. And the thing he had more than anybody else, he had exceptional ability. But it takes more than just ability to be a great player. And I wasn't sure, there's a question mark until people emerge and play in the first team. I've seen some great individual players with ability and never make it.
Yeah,
So I think we were looking forward to him getting in the team, and as soon as he got in, I don't think he ever was left out of the team other than when he ran away or something like that.
Having seen that, I mean, the skills are obvious, but from the professional's point of view, what was so special about him?
Well, I think it was his ability and his balance, and one didn't ever realise whether George was a right-footed player, left-footed player. And there's not many players in the world that you cannot identify, and he could drop his shoulder and go both ways. And another thing one doesn't recognise when you're 16 is whether you're brave enough. And we've all seen him, and again, he's one of the bravest players which people wouldn't even recognise. And I think his nerve was another thing, that, you know, the bigger the game, that he's just a calmer. And as a young kid, when he played in cup ties and things like this, he was under pressure. He was a great player.
I really never got nervous before the games. I think because you know, the lads will tell you, I mean, 10, 15 minutes before the games most of the time, they had to come looking for me. I used to be with my friends outside having a cup of tea.
I remember the first game he ever played in the first team, in actual fact, was against West Bromwich Albion at Old Trafford. And he played against a lad called Graham Williams, who was a big, strong left back, but a good footballer who played for Wales. After Matt had told me, we were saying, this Stuart Williams is a big fella, and if he comes near, he'll kick this out, you know. We're trying to, but we didn't frighten him. It didn't make any difference to him at all at that time.